Let's do this. Oh, it's been a while. Hello everyone, my name is May and welcome back to me. It's been a hot minute. I'm wearing a hat because my hair is incredibly dirty right now. I could take it off. Not dressed myself up at all for this. I think I've put on lip balm. And that's about it. A few little updates, I guess, to start because I almost use this myself as a bit of a diary, talking CV to myself of whatever the fuck is going on. I have finally moved. After spending 6 years in sweet sunny Brisbane for uni and then work, I have moved to Sydney. Now enrolled in, well, I got accepted to and into a 5-month acting course. I'm currently doing an acting course with Actors Centre Australia, or ACA, which, if you don't know, was kind of like the starting place where Hugh Jackman kind of started. Really, like, the teaching is pretty solid from what I'm seeing, at least. I'm learning a lot. So that's what I'm currently doing, and that's like 20 hours, contact hours a week. I'm really liking it. I've kind of obviously done a lot of musical theatre, and I've decided that musical theatre is no longer serving the purpose of learning how to act very well, because it doesn't really very well. It's not that you can't be a good actor doing musical theatre, that's not it. It's that if that's your only source content, I don't think it teaches you very well how to do truth and nuance and all of those wonderful things that one actually needs if one ever wants to do film or really not musical theatre. In this video today though, I was mostly thinking that I might do a little bit of a bit of wrap up of what happened last year reading wise and a bit of forward goals of what I kind of want to do this year. So last year I read 26 of a planned 40 books. I think I may have read a bit more than 26, so maybe a few that slipped through the radar of me actually putting me into Goodreads, but anyway, that doesn't matter. I read 2 non-fictions. The first being Atomic Habits by James Clear, and the second one being The Making of Biblical Womanhood by Beth Allison Barr. I only managed to read 3 plays, but you know, I guess I'm getting there. I read The Importance of Being Earnest by Oscar Wilde. I read Prima Facie by an Australian playwright called Susie Miller, and I read, what's the third one? I read King Henry VI Part 1 by Shakespeare. I read 2 short story / novellas. So one was The Arrival by an Australian graphic novel / writer called Sean Tan. This was one of my favourite books, and I'll get to that later. This was a really good piece of work. I also read Martha Wells' All Systems Red, which is part of like the Murderbot series. A few books from outside my regular fantasy genre. One was almost romance thriller a little bit. Verity by Colleen Hoover. It's kind of one that I saw all over Instagram, and I was like, oh, look, I'll give it a read. And I didn't hate it. Romance is really not my thing, but it wasn't bad. Little Fires Everywhere by, I think it's Celeste Ning. I really liked this. It's not really my genre just because I mostly don't read a lot of contemporary fiction. Quite liked this, actually. It was pretty good. Then I also read The Shadow of the Wind by Carlos. Yeah, I'll put it on the screen. I'm gonna probably butcher his name otherwise. This was a Spanish one because I got my housemate who's learning Spanish a copy in Spanish and a copy in English, and I was like, I may as well read the copy in English myself. Of course, I found an audio because I'm a sucker for audios. Kind of noir mystery fiction. The one classic I feel like I read, well, I feel like 2 things kind of could fit into the classic genre, but the one, I guess, classic I read was June by Frank Hubert. I do think that maybe The Importance of Being Earnest kind of fits in there as well. And I don't know if necessarily June fits in it, but I feel like June is one of the start of science fiction and therefore is a classic. My favourites for last year, I actually think probably the ones that have stuck with me the most actually were Prima Facie, the play, and The Arrival, the short story, or kind of graphic novel. Those have stuck with me so hard. But also one of the favourites that I finished, I read up to The Dying of the Light in the Skull Over Pleasant series, and I really love The Dying of the Light. That was really good. So that's the end of the Dark S trilogies. I really love humorous, macabre books. It's my genre. I love it a lot. It's why I love Lockwood & Co. It's why I love a lot of Terry Pratchett. It's why I love Skull Over Pleasant. It's my thing. Then the most uninteresting books I think I read, Torch That Ignites the Stars by Andrew Rowe, which is the 3rd book in the Sufficiently Advanced Magic series. Didn't grab me very much, and I think I've had a discussion later with like some of my brothers and peers that have also read this series. We talked about a lot of stuff in that conversation, and it could have been either Chinese or Japanese, but I think it was the Chinese style of kind of like mystic hero story. And looking at it through that guise, I can see like it's a very well done piece of fiction being slotted into that like genre, but not really necessarily my thing. The big thing that I started doing was running last year. I was inspired after my brother ran a marathon, and I was like, I could run a marathon too. I ran a half marathon as my New Year's Eve gift to myself. That was my first half marathon. I think I ran it in 2 hours and 3 minutes, I think, or maybe it was 4 minutes. I'll put my Strava here. And now I'm a hugely into distance running. You can't stop me, won't stop me. I guess then we're on to the part of what do I want to do this year. I'm really wanting to up my reading this year, but at the same time I was like, I'll just go for 30 and not stress myself out, and so then if I end up just focusing more on lots of study reading that I end up doing, that'll be good too. Hoping to read at least 12 plays, so hopefully at least one a month. Middle of the year, if I've already surpassed 12, we'll see what happens, but at the minute I'm just going to go for 12 plays. I want to try and read 2 classics because I think that's doable. I'd like to finish a series that I've started. Like, I have a lot of open-ended series. I'd like to finish some of those series. I want to give, again, another genre a go that I normally don't read from. I'd like to, and I didn't really know how to put a categorical number on this, but I would like to continue to be consciously trying to read more POC and other diverse authorships. I don't exactly know numerically how I wanted to calculate that, but at the minute what I'm just saying is that I want to do that really consciously. Picking up every book, trying to think about if this is from somewhere that's less diverse, what am I going to be picking up next time? Yeah, kind of something like that. I would like to read 2 short stories / novellas. I know, again, it's not particularly a genre that excites me that much, but I think it's probably not a bad idea to kind of be turning over some stuff in that kind of genre. I'd like to read 2 autobiographies / biographies. I've already read one this year already. That was Trevor Noah's autobiography. So looks as though I'm already halfway there. Cool, I just need to read one more. I can do that. I can do that. I got so many months. I can do that. This is seeming like a really long list. I'd like to finish a book that's been given to me that I've owned for at least a year. And on that, I want to also read something that's specifically been recommended to me. So maybe that will end up being the same book that someone's given to me, but like read something that's specifically been recommended to me so that I'm actually listening to the other voices around me that have thoughts about what I could read that might be really good, great fun. Those are kind of like the reading goals that I have. Now, for non-reading goals, I have so many non-reading goals. I could dump them all over the screen. But I want to run 2 marathons this year. I'm already booked in to run the Canberra Marathon. Could make some like running content. I'd like to write a short film or a skit. On writing, I'd also like to write another novel or at least finish one of my works in progress. Some of my works in progress are quite lengthy novels, and so it will be like writing the length of a novel anyway. I would like to, and this will be harder now, I no longer have a piano in my house, but I would like to learn 3 classical pieces on the piano. I've kind of really wanted to learn the piano for quite a long time because I think that'd be really nice to accompany singing. As like a final little thing, I would like to work on body neutrality and being my own friend. Very wholesome little vibes, but I do actually think that's something that I've neglected as being too fluffy and stupid to do for many years of my life. And I still think that's been to a bit of a detriment in my mental health, and I think it'd be really good to actually be working at that. As for this video making thing, I don't really know what'll happen. Maybe I'll only turn up biannually. Hopefully if I could get this video up, that would be really, really freeing. I'm filming this already in February, so it'd be nice to kind of get it up and get it out. I love you guys all so much. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Goodbye. And also, as of 2023, Lockwood & Co. finally got a TV series. I have lots of thoughts about that. I'm gonna actually have to make a whole separate video. I put that as a note just because I personally think that Lockwood & Co. getting a TV series is just as important as me having moved with my job and started an acting course. Lockwood & Co. really is probably the reason I started this entire fucking channel.